All right. Hi, all, and welcome. Once again, I'm Natalie Smirkanich. I am on the employer engagement team here at the Career Development Center. And today I'll be going over hiring trends to know before graduation. So without further ado, let's jump in because I've got a lot to cover, as well as a demonstration for how to look for jobs, which I think a lot of you who are seniors will probably find helpful. So we'll get into it. All right, a little bit of housekeeping. If you are doing this workshop for a class assignment, please take notes of the presentation. You're required to take handwritten notes of the presentation, and then you'll send a picture of your notes with today's dates to cdc.events@csulb.edu. Want to include in the subject line your class assignment and your name, and then include the instructor's email as well. So I'll leave that up for just one more minute so that you can take a picture of that if you're here for a class assignment. And if you're not here for a class assignment, you're just here to learn about hiring trends, you've come to the right place. All right, so I want to give you guys a little bit of a background on me, so you know where this information is coming from. So I born and raised in Pennsylvania, and then I went and got my undergrad degree at the University of Vermont, 2008 to 2012. Just in case you're doing the math, I'm 34 now. Same age as Taylor Swift. I'm actually 2 days older than her. No big deal. After I went to the University of Vermont, that led me to serve in the Peace Corps. So I served in the Peace Corps. Those are not the right years. I served in Peace Corps from 2012 to 2014. And then when I returned home, I moved out to California. I got a job working for Peace Corps. And then I went to USC for my master's in post-secondary administration and student affairs, where I learned a lot about higher education, hiring trends, all of these things we'll be talking about today. So I'm an expert in the field. And then I've been at Cal State Long Beach since 2020. I started during the pandemic. Job hunting during the pandemic was horrible. Being onboarded during the pandemic was horrible. Yeah, being onboarded virtually is really, really tough. And looking for a job when the whole world had kind of stopped was also really tough. So, I speak from experience and how I've gotten jobs and how I've applied to jobs. And I'll make sure that I insert some of my personal experience as well when we're talking about hiring trends today. So what we're going to go over today, we're going to talk about the top hiring trends from my research. We're going to talk about the resources for job searching, because most of you here today, if you're interested in hiring trends, you're also going to want to know, well, where do I go from here? We'll have some time for Ask Me Anything, where you can put questions into the chat, you can unmute yourself, and then we'll talk about next steps and advice I have for you moving forward. But I'm a pretty agile presenter. So if you do have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat at any time. If there's stuff I'm probably going to go over, and then I'll wait till the end of the presentation to re-go over your question and make sure it was answered. Or if it's a question that's pertinent, I will go ahead and answer it for you there. So feel free to drop those questions in the chat. You can also unmute yourself. Happy to do that. Because when you're presenting virtually, it's like doing stand-up in a dark room with no one in the audience. There's little to no sound on the other side, so you forget who you're presenting to. So don't hesitate to interact with me. I love it. I would like to know in the chat if you could drop in maybe what year you are and your major, because that will help me direct the conversation. One of the really interesting things when I was doing my hiring trend research was that it varies greatly based on what industry you're looking to go into. For example, we're going to talk about this later, but like tech jobs, there's a lot of layoffs. And so the hiring trends within tech look very different than they do in education, where education and I'm seeing like human development. These are a lot of companies are desperate for people to apply, and I can even talk about that from my work now as I help I coordinate all the information sessions at the Career Development Center. So we have a lot of employers who are in education, human development, social work, who really need people to apply. So hiring trends do vary on the industry. I'll be talking about like overall trends we're seeing. Cool. All right, we got people walking. Awesome. Art education. My background, my undergrad was art education. So Natcha, that's a wonderful major to have. You never know where it's going to take you. Oh, great. We have some alumni, child and development, finance. Awesome. Okay. Oh, fantastic. Academic advisor, want to be a career advocate. Oh, this is wonderful. Oh, well, I'm so glad you all joined today. Truly, I was so excited to see how many people had RSVP'd, because these hiring trends will sort of dictate how you apply for jobs, because it's an ever-changing job market. And so I want to make the best use of your time when you are looking for a job. All right, so here are our top hiring trends. I probably read, like 15 articles about hiring trends currently. And these were some of the ones that rose to the top. So first is the market for hiring and layoffs. So unemployment currently is sitting under about 3%. That's a low unemployment rate, and it's a great rate. However, what we are seeing is that a lot of the jobs that are available are not jobs that college grads would be interested in. These are, they could be line cook positions, they could be working in retail. These are jobs that don't necessarily require a college degree. So while that number might look good, when you're looking for jobs, you might feel like, wait, where are all those jobs you were talking about? And like I said, it's going to depend on the industry that you're in. So we see these huge layoffs in tech, but who's really hiring right now is social services. So anybody who works in education, child development, human development, we're seeing a lot of hiring within those realms. I'm also seeing a lot in engineering. Engineering is always hiring, but we are seeing an increase in education and engineering, whereas within some tech jobs, we are seeing those larger layoffs. AI, we're going to talk more about AI and how to use it. I'm even going to give you guys some examples of how to use it when you're looking to apply to jobs. My biggest advice for using, I use OpenAI, ChatGPT. You want to use it as your personal assistant. So make sure what you're asking AI to do is honestly like the tedious stuff. For example, I'll show you an example later on, but like when you're getting a resume example from ChatGPT, just use it as a starting point. It would never be something that you immediately pulled off and submitted, but use it to format or to come up with something that would take you a little bit more time to do that's tedious. That's how I use ChatGPT and use AI. And always be sure to edit and review thoroughly once something is AI generated. I'm not going to lie, and this is good for you guys to know, but these top hiring trends that I'm listing right now, these were also reinforced by AI. So what I did is I went to ChatGPT and I said, what are the top hiring trends in 2024? And it gave me, maybe 8 bullet points. And so what I did is I took that information and then I went back to the research and I started reading articles for myself and saw what was coming to the top. I would say it was like 50% accurate. A couple of the bullet points, I was like, yes, absolutely, that's a hiring trend. But there was a couple others that AI hadn't generated yet. So once again, I used it as my personal assistant, as somebody who come up with, the top 8 hiring trends. And then I went through, edited and reviewed it. Future skills. This is also a top hiring trend we're seeing, is that a lot of employers want to see your skills that you have. So if you are looking for jobs that need data, then make sure that you're getting those data skills. And the next slide is going to be going over how to address each of these hiring trends. The employee experience. I just want to like stop and thank any of you who are Gen Z. I believe most of you probably are. But Gen Z is changing the hiring game. They are demanding a better employee experience and holding out, excuse me, for employers who treat them properly, who give them the space to address their mental health, to make sure that they have work-life balance. And because the younger generation is demanding this, the employers are providing it. So one of the big things that I'm seeing is that hybrid work schedules, this is an employee's preference. We want the combination, I'm talking about myself. I want the combination of being physically in an office, but I also want those 2 days a week at home, or 2 to 3 days a week where I can roll out of bed and work, or eat a hot lunch, or go for a walk in my neighborhood, or put in a load of laundry in the morning. And so we want this, like what the employees were saying, want is this experience where they can not be in the office all the time, but also have that remote scalability. So that's definitely a big trend. And then last but not least is the hiring process. So this might be something all of you have encountered as you've applied to jobs, if you've started, or if you're looking to apply. Keep this in mind. The interview process has become slower and harder with multiple interviews. I am seeing this across the board. We'll touch more on why that's happening, but to put it briefly is AI is making it easier to generate resumes and cover letters and apply and use your ATS system, which is, where you're looking for specific words to include in your resume, so that when it goes through this algorithm within the company, they're pulling those words they're looking for and your resume is getting through the system. AI is making it so it's easier to do that. And so because of it, there are so many more applicants to positions through Indeed, through LinkedIn, all of that stuff. So because of that, hiring managers have a slower and harder process of interviewing candidates and ensuring that they have the qualities that they've listed on their resume. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about how we're going to address each of the top hiring trends. So here are the companies that I found that are looking to hire in the coming year. They've put out articles, or they've made it well known that this is who's hiring. So these are some of the big companies to look for: JP Morgan, Signet Jewelers, Tesla, Bath and Body Works, which cool, Holiday Inn Express, and Holiday Inn in general I would check out, since they are a larger conglomerate hospitality industry. So those are some of the bigger companies that are going to hire. You do want to, I would just keep your eye on how much growth there is in a company. Sometimes it can be very intimidating when you see a new company with a lot of job openings, because your first thought should be, how long are they going to be able to sustain this? Is it sustainable to hire this many people? But for larger companies like the ones listed here, these are well-established companies that are already looking to expand, looking into 2024. One of the big things that came up when I was looking at AI and like the trend of where our AI is going is that AI won't replace jobs. But people who can use AI will replace people who can't use it. So make sure that you're learning how to use AI. If that sounds silly because you like use it every day or it's a part of your general life, great. But if you've ever been like intimidated to look into it or how to use it, I would recommend just getting a brief intro of how to use it. What I did is I opened ChatGPT and I took a subject that I knew a lot about, and I asked questions to ChatGPT about those topics because I knew the correct information. So I wanted to make sure that it was giving great information out, and it really shocked me. It was fantastic. So cool way to test it as well if you're kind of playing around in it. In terms of future skills, my biggest recommendation for this is looking at other workshops that the universities offer. So whether it's in your college, are they offering workshops, or do we offer workshops here? At the Career Development Center, we have resume and cover letter workshops. We have bigger events like yesterday and the day before were Disney days, which was where they talked a lot about like the Disney internships that are available. So make sure you're attending these workshops with employers too. I put on all the information sessions at the Career Development Center, and oftentimes I will get 10 students for an info session. And those 10 students get to stick around. Not all of them stick around. So let's say 2 or 3 stick around and have a full conversation with the hiring manager. And these are smaller companies who want to hire from Long Beach. And it's a great opportunity to get your name in with the recruiter and have a one-on-one conversation with them, or even learn what they're looking at, or have them take a look at your resume and give you some feedback. So I would really use those opportunities we create here at the Career Development Center to help you get hired, to help you get jobs. That is why we do what we do. I also want to point out that all of you have free access, unlimited access to LinkedIn Learning. So through your SSO, when you see all your chicklets, there will be one that says LinkedIn Learning, and LinkedIn Learning has data skills, Excel, public speaking. It offers a variety of courses that are all free to you, and all of them are asynchronous. So you can do them on your own schedule. One thing I always caution students to ask during their interviews is ask about the work schedules and flexibility. And the way you ask it can really determine kind of how an employer responds, because you don't want to say, is this a remote job? Because I think that they'll assume like you don't want to come in, or that you do want to work from somewhere very far away. So you can say, what does a typical work schedule look like? Do you have any hybrid opportunities? Is there flexibility of like when you work your work day? For example, here where I work, it's like I'm in at 8 every day, I'm out at 4:30 every day. And there's not a ton of room for that flexibility. So it would have been nice during the interview process if I would have asked, like, what does a typical work day look like? Is there any remote work available? So asking in a gentle way, I think, is a really good idea once you get to the interview, which I will talk about how we're going to get you to that interview along our way. And then I would say, for the what are the trends about hiring process and how it can be pretty difficult and have multiple levels and interviews. Use the Career Development Center's resources for interview prep. So make sure you're coming to our interview prep workshops or meeting with a counselor if you do have bigger concerns. We also have a tool called Big Interview where you can record yourself in an interview, and it will give you a score back of like how you looked at the camera, answered the question. And I just think that's a cool resource as well. So I'm going to give you a slide of resources to come, but these are just some of the top hiring trends and then how to respond to them. Any questions? I am blowing through, but you just let me know. All right. All right, so here are some examples and ways to use ChatGPT. So we're going to explore ChatGPT and its functionality and limitations. So what you'll do, I show you on the left-hand side, like this is my actual resume. So what I would do is inside of your AI tool, you'll enter a portion of your resume. So for example, I would take this employer recruitment programs coordinator, that's my current job. I would take that and all my bullet points and I'd throw it into AI. And then I'd ask for a summary of my demonstrated hard skills. And then I'd ask for a summary of my soft skills. I would say, what stands out? What should I clarify? And ChatGPT will be able to give you a summary that you can put into your professional summary, or it will let you know what kind of words are coming up as well. I would really urge you to consider highlighting skills like critical thinking, curiosity, flexibility. Why? Why would you highlight those things? Because those are things AI does not have. So when we look towards the future of hiring trends, we see that a lot of employers are saying, well, AI could do this. Well, AI cannot critically think. It's not curious. It's not going to go and be above and beyond, and it's not going to have the flexibility to take in multiple sources of information and then come up with something creative. So you really want to highlight what you can bring to this position. So I always make sure that, yeah, I usually mention something about being creative, that I'm extroverted, something about my personality as well, because those are things that couldn't be done by artificial intelligence. And then once again, you want to make sure you tailor your resume to every specific opportunity that you apply to. Even if it's just like little adjustments. I'm not gonna lie, I have like one resume that I adjust briefly, but I usually put my big work into my cover letter. And I really tailor my cover letter to every opportunity, and I've actually come to like love that process. But you want to look at the job posting, you want to make sure that your resume reflects the words, the tools that they want you to have to apply. Question from Jessica. Thank you for asking. What are your thoughts on having title on our resume as a new grad? Thoughts on having a title. Jessica, can you clarify what you mean by title? Like, are you talking
Yeah,
about,
can you hear me?
yeah,
Can
yeah,
you hear me? Okay. A lot of the resume examples I look at have a person's like job title on it, like
mm-hmm,
teacher, police
mm-hmm.
officer, like that. And as a new grad and applying to different jobs, like is that something we should be trying to put? It's such a small detail. I was just curious.
No, it's a good question. I want to say no, because if so, and I was a recruiter for 5 years. So prior to this, I would say you don't need to put new grad, because in your education section, it's going to say like when you graduated. So it's going to say, May 2024. And a recruiter is smart enough to be like, oh yeah, they graduated in May. Like they'll be able to see that you're a new grad. Um, if you mean putting it as a title under like an experience section, hmm, yeah, I don't know if you'd have to spell it out. I probably wouldn't, honestly. Um, they'll put it together with your education, but no, I wouldn't list it as your title. That's me though. Um, you'll hear different things from different, counselors and sources, which is totally makes sense. But overall, I would say no, I wouldn't mention that. Yeah, cool. Appreciate the question too. One other thing I'd recommend too is making sure your LinkedIn is like all shored up. It looks great. This is something I actually just did as well. Is that I went into my LinkedIn. I had no background picture up here, didn't think I needed one. And one of my colleagues reviewed my LinkedIn and was like, you should definitely have that image. Make sure your image is up to date, like your headshot. But one thing I'm starting to see in LinkedIn is that there people are using it as social media. So you use that to showcase your personal brand. And even if you lost your job, I just recently saw this, so I just copied and pasted it for my own LinkedIn. But somebody that I came across is hashtag open to work. And so he's currently unemployed, but it's marked that he's open to work. And so more people are reaching out to him. And he actually has his mentor, who's Catherine Lewis here on the right-hand side. She works for LinkedIn. And she was able to kind of elevate that he was looking for work. So this is for somebody, right, who's had a little bit more work experience and has a mentor, and is saying like, hey, I'm open to work. Can you also promote that I'm interested? But I would say just recommend that you get your LinkedIn off the ground. We have LinkedIn workshops as well at the Career Development Center of how to make sure that your page is up and ready to go. Great question in the chat. So like Dahlia asked, what if we have absolutely no work experience? So good question. My first advice would be like to get some work experience. even if it's volunteer work, leadership work, joining clubs on campus. I'm thinking about all the things that you don't have to be like hired for, right? Clubs, community organizations, these are all great free places to start and then kind of grow from there. If you have no work, like you've never even worked in like a retail space or a restaurant, because you always want to include that as well. If you are early in your career journey, you want to show that you've had, smaller work experiences, or more, what am I looking for? Like entry level experience. I always put, I worked at Urban Outfitters for 4 years, so I always put that, even though it doesn't relate to what I do now. For the first couple of years that I was looking for jobs, I wanted them to know that I had the experience of working cash registers or restocking stores or kind of doing more of the tedious work of a day-to-day. But yeah, I would say if you have absolutely no work experience, try getting some volunteer experience, community work, club work on campus. You have a really wonderful resource while you're here on campus to go and get more involved with like these free clubs, or volunteer events, that will get you more involved on campus. But great question. And if I didn't fully answer that, Dahlia, let me know. So we're going to now jump into resources for job searching. So, yeah, Jessica, question?
Yeah, sorry, I wanted to ask while we are still on the subject, if we are planning or if we know we're gonna have like not planning on working for the next year. So, would you recommend continuing volunteer work so that we do have something to put and it's not like a total gap?
Jessica, you cut out right where you were saying the meat of that question. So can you ask it again?
Yeah, if we are planning on not working for a little bit,
Mhm.
would you recommend continuing some kind of volunteer position just so that there's something to put and it's not like a complete gap in our resume?
Absolutely. I would ask like too, like what, the time that you're taking off. I know some people use it to travel, and explore. Yeah, I would say definitely keep your volunteer opportunities. Um, I think that would probably, and try to keep engaged with that. Because employers will be curious what you've been up to. And so that you'll either be able to talk about that volunteer experience or to relate to what you have been doing, whether it's caretaking for someone or traveling or any other reason that you would be taking some time off of work. That help? Anybody else? And Jessica, you never have to apologize. No one ever has to apologize for asking questions. I love it. This is a interactive space. All right, so we're going to jump into resources for job searching. These are informational tools. So I would recommend these for if you are a little bit more lost on like, what does someone do with my major? There's this tool from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics where it's an occupational outlook handbook. So it's like what kind of education and training you need to become something, or like what are people with a liberal arts background doing now. So that kind of gives you more information moving forward if you're still looking for a little bit more direction. And then the ONET online tool also helps you kind of make you a pathway for if you want to become something, what are the steps to take. So these are two that I recommend if you kind of don't know what you want to do yet. If you know what you want to do, or have some idea, I can give you the next tools are going to be a little bit more helpful for that. So, I didn't plan on sharing this, but I will share this. One thing I do want to just talk about with LinkedIn, and this is something I've been recommending really highly. And last week was our spring job and internship fair at the center. And I was talking with a lot of students, and one of them had told me, I am really interested in this specific kind of engineering. How do I get involved with that specific engineering? And should I be getting more general experience as a regular engineer and then focusing more on this specific kind? And what came to mind as somebody who give like as a counselor, as somebody who gives career advice, is it sounded like they needed a mentor and they needed somebody who already was where they wanted to be, but maybe like 5 years ahead of them. You have to be careful when you are looking for mentors and guides and support systems of where they are in their career. Because if somebody is 10 years ahead of you in their career, it, a lot of the advice they give you is probably not going to be super relevant, of like how they got their job. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people about how they got their job at a university 10 years ago, and it was very different and not super equitable, and a little bit of who you knew, and the process was very different. And so now it's changed. And so I feel like I could give a lot more pertinent advice to somebody who's looking to get into higher education. Than somebody who's already been in their career for a while. So this is all to say, when you are on LinkedIn, the best, I mean, the search tool is fantastic. I would look for people who are already working at a university and who are a few years into their career and had a similar job title to what I thought I wanted. And those were the people that I would reach out to and just say, hey, I got a couple quick questions for you. Do you have 10 minutes to grab coffee? Do you have 10 minutes to jump on a Zoom call? Because I'd like to know how to get where you are. And you're not asking them to, like, be a reference. You're not asking them to get you a job somewhere in any way, right? What you're doing is you're just saying, like, I want to be you in 5 years. What advice would you give to yourself? So that's my one big thing for LinkedIn, is that I heard some comedian made a joke recently about LinkedIn and how it's not relevant anymore. And I just don't think that's true. As somebody who like works in this space a lot, LinkedIn is really still very, very strong and popular. And I would recommend getting into it if you are looking for work, or if you also want to kind of explore connecting with other people in different industries. So it's my plug for LinkedIn. I swear I don't work for them. I just really like it. I treat it like social media. I try to go on for like a half hour every day and just interact, like things, comment, connect with people I may have met the week before, and just try to use it as another kind of social media platform that's part of my daily life. So here are some professional resources for looking for jobs. We'll start with CareerLink, Career Shift. I'll go through those two. I'm actually going to just do a demonstration so you guys can see and we can search and go from there. I will mention also Going Global. Going Global is really great if you're an international student. So this is where we direct most of our international students, because it does show who has hired international students or who does support different kinds of visas and OPT statuses. Candid Career is also listed. I've never personally used it, but it can be just another resource that you do use. We recommend that these are like 3 different buckets, right? Your job and internship bucket's going to serve one purpose, where it's like just showing you those jobs and internships. We suggest like Beach Nexus, which is a wonderful resource for getting mentors and connecting with other people in your network. You have access to this. This is a picture of the Chicklet off your SSO, where you can put in that you're looking for mentors in there, or just see who else at Cal State Long Beach is working at different companies. And if it's the first time you're hearing about it, don't worry about it. That's true for a lot of people. So you can absolutely go in there today and check it out. And then LinkedIn as well is my like biggest one for networking. You really just need access to somebody who has a huge network. So you can always link in with me. I'm happy to link in with all of you. And then you'll see I have a lot of connections with people that you could reach out to. Dahlia, if I plan to study abroad, would those websites also help me search for internships? So are you looking for an internship? What you're looking for an internship while you're studying abroad? Do you mind clarifying in the chat? So you're looking for an internship in London? Huh, that's an interesting question. No. So these are mostly for jobs when you're This is for jobs when you're in the United States. So one of the parts of that question that makes what you're asking for challenging is that when you're studying abroad, there are different limitations you have on what work you can do when you're overseas. So if you're doing an internship through your program that's organized by them, great. But if you're looking to make money while you are studying abroad, you can run into some complications of like your status and what kind of work visa you can be on. So no. No, but these will help you with jobs when you come back or internships when you come back. So I'm going to talk about the last bucket, which is virtual experience. We have big interview. So I mentioned to you guys big interview before. Big interview is focused on giving you the virtual experience of interviewing and doing mock interviews. And then Forge does micro internships where you can go in and experience a mini internship virtually at different companies. So Forge is a really cool online platform that you have access to as well. So I'm going to jump out of this presentation and I'm going to show you CareerLink and CareerShift. I won't actually see in the chat. How many of you have used CareerLink? Have you used CareerShift? Would anyone like to see a demonstration, like a full demonstration? I can also do the demonstration at the end. So if you don't want to see it, you can jump off and then I'll go over it with those who want to stick around. Any,
Yeah, I only know how to use like
yeah,
career, but not career shift. So I
okay,
think, yeah, at the end, if that's okay, just in
yeah,
case if other people, yes. So thank you.
perfect. I can absolutely do that. Anybody, yeah, everybody, we're gonna go with that then. I'll show at the end how to use CareerShift. We just did I just did a training yesterday on CareerShift, so I'll be able to show that to you. Okay. Career Link, I'll just go over this since this is like what I manage on a day-to-day basis. So my student assistant and I approve all of the jobs that come through with Career Link. So just in case you were ever on Career Link and you were like, whoa, there's so many job postings. How can I know if these are like legit? They are. Most of them. I would say 2 a semester we get that are fraudulent, that have penetrated our system. But for the most part, we approve all the employers and then all of the jobs to ensure that they are legitimate employers. And we also mark every job for different colleges. So if you get an email that says like, check out the jobs of this month for the College of the Arts, those are all jobs that we have marked for art students. Now, I do want to just stand up for ourselves. If you've ever gone on your own college website and you're like, oh my gosh, why are there so many of this position? That's not my major. It's not your major, but it might be your college. And a lot of colleges have like mismatched what it can seem very different, right? So it's like for the College of Health and Human Services, we are covering everything from family consumer sciences, which is fashion design, hospitality, criminology, kinesiology. So you've got all these different majors. And so if you've ever gone in and thought, oh my gosh, that's not my major, it's because it's in the rest of your college. So just kind of pointing that out. But it should be very easy in CareerLink to look for positions and then apply as well. If you can't access CareerLink, I'm going to have you email, and this is for anybody in the chat. You can email hirecsuob@csu.edu. And if you are a new alumni, that might be why, because new alumni have to create their alumni account, which you will have received an email about, but we can sort that out for you. So if you're having any issues with CareerLink, feel free to drop us a line. CareerShift. So like I was saying, this is an awesome job search engine. I'm going to show you how to use it to find jobs, companies, contacts. And one of the cool parts about CareerShift is that it has embedded LinkedIn links so that you can just click and see who of the names, titles, emails, people who are already working at that company. And you can also look for remote positions. So we'll go over that as well. if I've gone over so much and you're like, what is happening? Just know there's a resource guide. So I'll leave this up for just a minute. In the meantime, please scan this QR code, use the resource guide that we provide, which has listed all of the links that I had said during the presentation. And with that, I will take a sip of water while any of you drop questions into the chat. Cool. All right. So next steps and advice. So utilize your resources to learn more about jobs, companies, and industries. One of those biggest resources, I think, and you'll probably be tired of me saying this, but like using LinkedIn to learn more about who's working at these jobs. You can search and see what alumni are working there and reach out to alumni. They're the most likely to get back to you. Make sure that you're getting support and advocate for what you want from a position. This comes into when I was saying in the hiring process of like asking about flexibility and about what work schedules look like. Make sure you're getting what you want from a job. I have even been somebody who has applied for things that didn't excite me and just thought, oh, I need a job, so I'll apply to this. And ultimately, it's important for something to stand out in the job description for you. You don't have to love everything that's listed in it, but if it's a company that you like for the mission of the company that you're really engaged with, or if it's the job itself, make sure that there's one thing that really stands out to you that makes you want to apply for it. And if there isn't, don't apply for it. I would say, yeah, the energetics of that is that you don't want to apply for things you don't want. You only want to apply for things you do want. And that can become more lenient as you get a little bit more desperate, but make sure that you're getting what you want and need from a job. Start networking. So this is a great opportunity. I'm in a network. You can network with me. You can email me after this. You can start learning from the people in my network. So like I said, Career Shift LinkedIn. This is a great way to connect with people. And you're able to, kind of direct where you go from here. So I would say I'm going to give you just a minute for reflection, but write down what you want to do after this session. Is there something you want to explore? Do you want to jump onto Career Shift? Do you want to go back into Career Link? Do you want to work on your resume? Do you want to attend one of our LinkedIn sessions? So just take time now to write down one thing you're going to do after this session to help you in your job search. Maybe open AI, ChatGPT, and ask some questions. And then I'm going to ask, does anyone want to share? Do we have a brave human being to share what they want to do after this? Anyone? Anyone?
For me, I haven't touched my LinkedIn since freshman year of college.
Okay, yeah.
So I need to update a lot of that, and I think
Yep.
it'll be beneficial for me to also go to the LinkedIn workshops, stuff like that. Because I know for being a student at Cal State Long Beach, it's free, so I should take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
So
Yes, it
yeah.
is. I was just about to say, let me keep me signed in. Let's see, we have a workshop calendar that comes out every year, but
Oh.
let's see. Yeah, we have them physical copies in our office, but we also have all the workshops listed on our website. So let's see. Yeah, workshops and events. So getting the most out of LinkedIn, that's the one we want. Let's see. You guys are already here for that. Search and prepare for internships. We have some, if you are an international student, we have some workshops specifically for international students, which is great. Those are upcoming. Here we go. Next Thursday, 12 to 1, we're hosting an in-person LinkedIn Elevate Your Personal Branding game. I would recommend bringing your computer and just working on it during the session. That's what I would do. Listen, I've been in enough things where I'm just like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this. It's like I might as well just bring my computer and work on it in that space, because I can say I'm going to do my LinkedIn, but I'm like not going to really do it. So bring your computer, have your LinkedIn up, and then just start kind of editing it in the meeting. That's what I would do.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's jump right back. So thank you for sharing. And then Stephanie also shared refreshing up my resume and join one of the LinkedIn workshops. Yeah. I think, once you get your resume to a good place, it kind of can just, I don't edit my resume a lot. Like I said, I really focus on my cover letters. But you want to get to your resume to a really strong place. And we have templates on our website. And you also can use ChatGPT as like a starting place. That's not where I started. I like my format of my resume. That format I have of my resume, I've been using since 2010. 2010? Yeah, when I was in college after I got home from studying abroad. And I just really like how it looks. And so I've kind of stuck with it. Just a little bit more about the Career Development Center. We are open 8 a.m. to Friday, every single day, Monday through Friday. Well, not every single day, Saturday, Sunday, we take the weekends off. We're in Brotman 250, so we're just across from the fountain. We are open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday in the summer too. So and it is quiet, so please feel free to come by. Campus is quiet in the summer, but it'd be nice to see all of you. Come on in. We have virtual drop-in Monday through Fridays, 12 to 3 p.m. You can come in to have your resume looked at, a cover letter looked at. We highly recommend it. And if you want to do, in-person drop-in for quick questions, that is not correct. We have in-person drop-ins Monday through Friday, 12 to 3. If you want the best hour of the week, it's Monday, 2 to 3 p.m. That is the hour that I handle drop-in. So if you come in Monday, 2 to 3 p.m., you'll have a 15-minute meeting with me, and we can go over your LinkedIn account. We can go over your resume and answer any quick questions that you have. Louise, I see in the chat, I have a question. How important are job titles in your experience section? Do you replace them with pertinent duties that can be transferred to the job you're applying to? That's a good question. Oof. I think I know why you're asking the question, and I can see why you're asking it. Because if you're trying to get a job, even in a different industry or in a different, like with a job, different title, and you've done what they're asking for, but your title doesn't align. I would say titles are important because they usually convey the importance of your role. For me, like even in retail, being a cashier or being a floor worker, that was really important job title, because then in the experience section, that's when I put in the duties of what that's a good question though. If you have like a really specific application of why you're asking that, I am very curious. You can just email me, because now I'm curious. Now you got me wondering what you're asking about. So I'm gonna throw my email in the chat. Email me. I'll happy to look at something and just giving you some feedback as well. And then thank you. Thank you guys for being here. I'm gonna jump out of here and quickly just show you how to get to career shift. So when you are in career link, so you'll go to your SSO, click career link. You can, did they change the location of this? We're gonna find it. Let's see. They did change where career shift is located. So there is outcomes. Please hold briefly. We shall find it. Resources. I bet it's under resources. Yeah. All right. So a lot of the tools that I explained to you today, you'll go into your career link account. It'll be so much more seamless than what I just did. You'll go under resources and then you'll have access to, you can do your virtual drop-in hours right from here. You'll just click the Zoom link and it'll bring you in there. You can go into career shift, big interview, going global, beach nexus, forage, candid careers. I mean, it's, you got everything you need under resources. When you go into career shift, so it will log you in via your SSO. No, I don't want this. I'm just going to try it out. Cool. Let's go. Let's search for a job. So let's see. I'm a program coordinator. So I'm going to see what we've got in terms of a program coordinator. So let's just say I'm going to leave my husband and baby behind and I'm going to go to Eastern Washington. It'll take you directly to the job posting. It will also help you find contacts. So this will immediately show you who is working there currently. So all I did was click into contacts and then you can look in LinkedIn for them. It'll take you to their LinkedIn account, which I don't think this person, it looks like they had one. Yeah, Trang has not updated their photo in a very long time. I can show you my LinkedIn account, my newly freshened LinkedIn account. I can even mention some of the stuff I did. I don't want to use premium. No thanks. All right. So you can see my profile. I got a picture. I've updated my jobs. I have more of like a statement of like why I do what I do. I've recently posted about going to like women's conferences and professional things. Hey, that's what I look like on a very good day. So you can do stuff like that. So like I said, just use LinkedIn as kind of just another form of social media in my day-to-day life. And I will say, like, especially in the last couple of months, a lot of recruiters have been reaching out to me and being like, are you looking for a change? Have you considered doing this? So people do get found on LinkedIn. And I've heard from other people it's the same. So, all right, we got 7 minutes to share to spare. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.